Hi everyone. Hope you can see me well. Alexander Dunlop here. Let's see, we got everybody. You can see my holiday tree in the background where I would normally be standing to shoot the video. We now have a holiday tree, aka a Christmas tree. Really has nothing to do, the Christmas tree really has nothing to do whatsoever with Christianity. Is quote-unquote pagan tradition, and the tradition of bringing an evergreen tree inside dates back to Siberian culture, Siberia near the North Pole, and even decorating the tree. I don't know how many of you know this idea of why we put decorations on an evergreen tree inside of our house. That also comes from Siberian cultures. What they would do is go out and collect red and white dotted mushrooms that grew only underneath the evergreen tree. The Amarita muscaria is the scientific name of it, and would go out and harvest these mushrooms at this time of year, and then in order to dry them out, to be able to take them, these psychotropic mushrooms, they would arrange them on the tree to dry them out, like decorating the tree. And then the shaman of the culture would put them all in a sack and go and deliver them as gifts to the people in the tribe. And then the people, in order to dry them out further, would hang them in a sock by the fireplace. You can't make this stuff up. But that's the tradition that we've been handed down. And even these Siberian cultures, they relied on reindeer as their transportation, and they would have sleighs that were pulled by reindeer. And then when they would take their Amarita muscaria and the intense psychotropic effects would take on, apparently they would have visions of flying with their reindeer. So all these elements that get passed down in our tradition, and even to the point where in their understanding of going to the other worlds, when they were having their psychotropic experience and reuniting with the spirit world, they would envision that they're traveling up and down into the different dimensions of reality, and they're inside their yurt, and there's a center hole at the top of the yurt. That's their chimney for the fire, where the smoke goes out. And they would apparently envision that they were traveling up through the chimney opening and then back down through the chimney opening to return to Earth. So they would come down the chimney with their stories to tell, with their experiences, with their revelations, and then share these stories and these experiences, share their gifts of knowledge with others. So that element too of coming down the chimney with gifts to give, that also actually emerges out of the shamanic culture in the indigenous societies of Siberia near the North Pole. So here is our shamanic tree, otherwise known as a Christmas tree, that we've decorated not with magic mushrooms, but with ornaments, and the gifts under the tree also not magic mushrooms, but Western consumer commodities. But nonetheless, that is the actual origin of this tradition. Though it's not Christian, it's shamanic. The evergreen tree with gifts on it, gifts to give us a different consciousness. Appropriate for me to share it with you in this week when we're playing the Jack of Spades, who is the symbol of the Prince of Consciousness. The deck of 52 cards is actually an ancient book of knowledge that was hidden in plain sight. Much like this tradition of the Christmas tree, its real origins hidden in plain sight. 52 cards, there are 52 weeks in the year. This week, the symbol in play is the Jack of Spades. This is the 50th week of the year. We're getting close to the end. Only a couple more weeks left in our year. And what we have when we utilize this tool, is this is a conceptual tool, what we have is a way to access, through our thought consciousness, the underlying energy patterns present in the quantum field of our reality. We have a way to mentally map the field that we are incarnated in, like the ocean that we're swimming in. We have a way, hi Natalia, we have a way to map out the currents of energy that we're flowing in, that we're moving in, and when we're passing through certain currents of energy in this field. And the energy we're passing through this week is symbolized by the Jack of Spades. So notice that he's holding a magic wand, and he's a one-eyed Jack, famously speaking. So there's a lot of symbolism for us to unpack. The one-eyed aspect, when we encounter the Jack of Spades energy, one eye showing, only showing one side of things, I guess, is the first and most superficial way of looking at it. That we may have experiences this week where we're only seeing one side of it. And that may mean that we get into confrontations and conflicts with others who have a totally different perspective of things. They see things totally differently. And we're like, no, the way I see it is right. And they're like, no, I see it this way, and you're wrong. And so we may have these clashes. So I encourage you to be aware of clashes of different perspectives. Another way we can read this one-eyed symbolism is having hidden compartments, things that we don't want to look at, or things that we may experience other people have hidden compartments. That can mean the dark side of things. Dun, dun, dun. The dark side. The dark side of the Force, young Skywalker. So, be aware that hidden things may pop out. Be aware that you may not be seeing the whole picture. In other words, get a second opinion before rushing headlong into any medical procedure, for example. Or get a second opinion before signing a contract. Get someone else to look at things for you, to look things over, like before you turn in a project or complete something. I know I'm going to make sure that I do that. Get another set of eyes to help me see what I might not be seeing. To help me see into my own dark side. To help me see what I might be missing about myself. The other way we can look at this one-eyed symbolism is having one eye into the spiritual, non-ordinary dimensions, and one eye in the present, mundane, everyday reality. So that's the deeper way we can read this symbolism. And the opportunity for us, then, is spiritual initiation. To look into the hidden dimensions of reality. The shamans utilize magic mushrooms to look into the hidden dimensions of reality. I'm not recommending or suggesting you do that, but you could. Meditation, prayer, just going for a walk in the park and paying attention to the trees around you. Watching the sunset and seeing if you can consciously commune with the energy of the sun. Being aware of the different dimensions of consciousness. Perhaps even paying closer attention to your dreams. Noticing what your dreams may be sharing with you. So you can open that other hidden eye to the other hidden dimensions of reality. Scientists estimate that we perceive less than 1% of the visible spectrum. Less than 1% of what's possible to perceive with these eyes. So there's a whole 99% that we are not perceiving with these physical eyes. So whenever this one is present, as it is this week, we have an opportunity to see into the unseen. That can be scary, right? There may be strange occurrences that happen, maybe even strange paranormal experiences that you have. Take a deep breath and breathe into the extraordinariness of it. It's not ordinary, it's extraordinary, extraordinary. And so instead of it being terrible and terrifying, perhaps it's extraordinary, maybe even miraculous, maybe transcendent. Maybe it opens you up to a whole nother possibility of what you could do with your life and for your life. Which brings us to the magic wand. Magic wand is actually the Vesica Pisces, but that's a whole other lecture that I give in my classes about what that means. For our purposes, let's just say it's a magic wand. It's the ability to open up reality as you want it to be. It's the ability to design your life. What's become kind of popular now is this concept of lifestyle design. That's the meaning of this symbol, the ability to design our life the way we want it. To wave a wand. I want this. I want to create this career. I want to create this financial abundance. I want to create this romantic relationship. And we do it. We wave our wand, so to speak. It's the wand of our consciousness. With our consciousness. The spade is the symbol of consciousness. It's an acorn, which is associated to the pineal gland, or the third eye. Third eye. The eye not seen. And with our eye that was unseen, to see into the hidden dimensions of reality and bring back those gifts into our waking consciousness and design our reality based on the extraordinary consciousness we have to design our ordinary reality. That's what's possible. Tapping into the extraordinary, unseen, to download that, bring that in, and create something tangible, physical, mundane, and ordinary. I say ordinary, meaning like the everydayness of our life. Creating more money, creating a relationship that we want. The everyday, ordinary things that everybody wants. Tapping into the extraordinary dimensions of reality to utilize that energy through our consciousness to envision, imagine, and see what we want, and then create it from our vision of it, drawing in the energy of the extraordinary dimensions of reality to wave a magic wand and make it so. So that's the deeper invitation whenever this Jack of Spades energy is present for us. So, of course, the question is, how do we tap into the extraordinary, unseen dimensions of reality, and how do we filter those and channel those and download those into our everyday reality? That's an open-ended question. That's a much deeper question. That might be a question where some coaching or healing or mentoring may be required. Maybe you already have a spiritual practice. Maybe you already know how to channel this consciousness constructively and proactively into your life. I hope you do. It's an extraordinary gateway of possibility when this energy is present, and I invite you to leverage it to the fullest, to create something magical and miraculous in your life, to see what it is that's really possible for you, to hold that vision, and then to create from that higher possibility. And taking a deep breath and breathing into the higher possibility. Consciously setting your mind's eye here, consciously focusing. What do I see for myself? What's possible? How can I transcend my own limitations? How can I envision something really, truly wonderful for my life? And what's possible for me? And this is where it requires some courage to be open to something you don't know, because you're extraordinary powers, extraordinary consciousness, by definition, is going to come from something you don't yet know. It's looking into the hidden darkness, into the unknown, and being comfortable there to receive from it. Being present in the non-ordinariness, being present in the hidden places of life. Breathing into that, and that's how you access the extraordinary power from the darkness. It's the darkness that holds all that's possible to be brought into the light. So, sitting in the darkness of the unknown, being present in that unknown, and consciously calling forth the darkness to transform it into the light. Have fun. Enjoy. As always, may you live your life like it's your favorite game to play.